Hey, ladies, happy day before Thanksgiving. We're going to have a quick conversation today with regards to Walmart stopping its DEI program. It's all over the place with regards to this happening. If you've been on this channel, though, we've been warning you about this for the past couple of years. Um, but I'm a broken record. I'm okay with being broken record. We're going to talk about what you can do about it, how you can position yourself for success. This is not going to be a super long broadcast. I'm going to put on the 90-second clock, give people a chance to come in, and then we are going to have this conversation. So here's the 90-second clock. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. For exclusive content and invitations to our Inner Circle Zoom meetings, which happen on a monthly basis, you can sign up for free for our email newsletter at bwmakingmoney.com. That's bwmakingmoney.com. Ladies, happy day before Thanksgiving. Hope everybody is doing well. I intended to come out maybe today with something a little bit more chipper. However, Walmart has made the news talking about their DEI program. We're going to have a quick conversation about it because I've been saying this for a while on this channel, but I'm going to blatantly say it today. I think I've been hinting around it before. I'm going to blatantly say it. In some industries, in some areas of working in corporate America, doing enterprise, doing business, etc., being a Black woman may start to count against us. And you may say, well, Cherie, that's been happening for 400 years. No. I want you to kind of take a step back and really think about what I'm saying here. There was a time, my grandmother was born in the early 1900s, for example, where she would go for a job, she would go for an opportunity, and they would not give it to her, but the corporations and the people who have the money and the power were not like, well, if we hire that Black person, somebody may come and sue us for hiring that Black woman. There's a difference. My mother, again, she born in the 1950s. She, was working when she worked when she was a young woman. Then she got married to my dad and stayed at home for a couple of years and then went back to work in the late 70s, early 80s. Yet nobody was threatening to sue the corporations that she worked for and worked with because they hired her and she was a Black woman. But here is what happened. Um, George Floyd died, and a lot of corporations were like, hey, we're going to open up. We're going to do these DEI programs. Now, you all know I have been saying for the past 2 years that I've been on this channel here, do not get caught up in the DEI. I told y'all that being DEI was not a promotable task. I warned you to focus on getting promotable tasks, focus on getting your skills up. I'm okay with being a broken record today, right? But I thought it was important for me to come and say that the pendulum, and I want to do a full topic, a full live stream about this, but the pendulum is swinging back a lot. And a lot of it is Black women's fault. I know that people don't want to hear this, but I'm here to say a lot of what's happening right now is Black women and Black people's fault. We open our mouths too much on social media. We open our mouths too much on social media. This is not just because Trump won. This is a lot of stuff that has been just at the surface, and all of a sudden it has bubbled over. So now you're looking at the fact that uh, Walmart, for example, let's take the Walmart program. Most of you may not know what's happening with Walmart right now. Walmart has just stopped its DEI program, and it's going to affect the people they hire, which you all think that the people that Walmart hires just in the stores. That's not true. Walmart has a full corporate division. So it's going to affect the people they're hiring, and it's also going to affect the products that get on the Walmart shelves. It's going to affect both. So you're an entrepreneur, you have a vision of being on the Walmart shelf, and all of a sudden, instead of Walmart giving you a hand up and saying, okay, here's how you do your packaging, here's how you set your pricing, we're going to give you a shot. Now they're going to look at you and say, we don't want to get sued. Therefore, we are severely restricting the amount of Black women that are going to have a shot at being on the Walmart shelves. We are severely restricting the amount of Black women that are going to get promotions to middle management, upper management, executive level. I warned you this was coming. I warned all of you that this was coming. And a lot of it is Black women's fault. Yes, I'm saying it. A lot of it has been our fault. Not all, but a lot. Okay? And anybody who's on the tickety talk can see some of what I'm talking about. Can see some of what we're talking about here. Unfortunately, a lot of upwardly mobile Black women are going to lose their abilities, lose their shots, lose their capability of getting to the next level unless you're listening to what I have to say today. I want to take a step back and talk about a story. There's a woman that I know who owns some, I don't want to give too much of it away. She owns some stores. Let's just say that. She owns like a few stores. She owns a chain of stores. And she's, a Black woman. And she's like, hey, I want to help other Black people out with regards to getting their products on the shelves. And it started out with her store, and then she helps you get on on the shelves of other stores because she knows how to do that, right? And she came to me and said, Cherie, the Black companies that come to me don't know how to put their packaging together. They don't know how to do their pricing. It's amateur hour with so many Black businesses. And of course, a lot of Black businesses are undercapitalized as well. And a couple of weeks ago, we had the conversation with regard to the young lady who wore short shorts to the job interview, the young Black girl that wore short shorts to the job interview. And somebody said in the comments, hey, Black women and young Black girls do not get a break. And the truth is, no, we don't. So now the pendulum is swinging back, where I honestly believe this. It would not be me, it would not be Black women making money. It would not be me to not tell you that in a lot of corporate settings and in a lot of school settings, being a Black woman is going to maybe start counting against us, where the person has to think 3, 4, 5 times, do I want to bring this Black woman on to this management team, to this company? Why? Because there are going to be corporations that are going to see us as a liability, meaning that they could be sued for millions of dollars if they believe that we got the position over a white man or a white woman. If we were favored because we are Black women. This is usually kitchen table talk, but we might as well have this conversation here amongst all of us. I was listening to Roland Martin talk about this, and he was, you know how Roland Martin is, right? He's like, yeah, I was talking about this a couple of years ago because Walmart's DEI program started 5 years ago. And apparently 2 or 3 years ago, Roland Martin was on a panel and he was saying, yeah, I was talking about it. And these corporations are scared. I was trying to tell them to stand up against the lawsuits. Let me get this straight. You're trying to tell these multi-billion-dollar corporations to stand up against these lawsuits when they could potentially get sued for millions, if not billions of dollars. I want us to sit and think strategically about what we're saying. That doesn't make any sense, which is why I've been telling you for the past 2 years, 2.5 years since I've been on here a lot, is you have to build your multicultural networks. I'm a broken record. Cherie, what should we do? DEI is going away. These corporations are taking their DEI programs back. And not only that, now they're going to look at you and I, and they're going to say, oh my goodness, if we hire Cherie, are we going to get sued? The opposite way. Are we going to get sued the opposite way? The answer is not if you and I. Number one, we got to be top 10% of skills. And entrepreneurship is a skill. Getting your products on the shelves of Walmart and Target or Nordstrom or whatever it is, that is a skill. You got to be at the top 10%. I've got to be at the top 10% of skills as a loan originator, as a loan officer. If you have to be at the top 10% of skills as a notary, I see Notary World in here, or cybersecurity or whatever it is you're doing, you got to get to the top 10% of skills in that industry. Number two, you have to have the soft skills, meaning you got to fit into corporate culture. Meaning you got to know how to do leadership and teamwork and, conflict resolution and all of those things. Number three, you got to have your multicultural networks. You need to be getting jobs that are not posted on LinkedIn, that are not posted on Indeed, that are not posted on any of these rando hiring sites. You need the recruiter calling you saying, Cherie, I'm calling you. I want to find out if you want to come work over here. Corporations are not going to risk a multi-million-dollar lawsuit to hire us. They're not going to do it. So we have to make sure that we are positioned in a way where we can win and where they can protect themselves. They want to win, but the big thing is they don't want to lose. They don't want to be on the end of an Edward Bloom lawsuit. And I know what I'm saying is not um, the rah-rah stuff that most people in the Black community, in the Black YouTube space, in the Black TikTok space want to talk about. All they want to do is crap on Walmart and crap on all these other companies that are taking away DEI programs. But here's the thing, unlike our Jewish counterparts, unlike our Asian counterparts, we don't have any money as Black people, or at least we're not putting it up to make sure that we really stand up and stand by these corporations that have a DEI program that really benefits Black women. And trust me, I get that DEI has benefited um, Asian people and people of color and LGBTQ and all of that. But I'm specifically talking like, hey, this DEI program has something specific for Black women. We're going to support them, and we're going to make sure that if a lawsuit comes, that we're behind them with dollars as well as online support. We don't do that. We don't have that. So the question that I had today was, will being a Black woman start counting against us with regards to DEI? And the answer is yes, unless you have technical skills, soft skills, multicultural networks. You got to have them. You got to have them. I don't know what else to tell you except that. And if you listen to anybody else on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter that's complaining about this, they don't have a solution for you either. They have a solution, oh, Black people should come together. They have a solution, oh, corporations should defend us. What's the chances of that happening? I give you solutions that you can actually implement, that you actually have 100% control over. And I do want to say, all these people saying, start a business, get out of the corporate America, start a business. Number one, starting a business is not for everybody. In fact, most people do better having a job. And number two, even if you're starting a business, if you don't have a multicultural network who is going to actually hire you, or buy your products or services, starting a business is not going to help anyway. It's not going to help. So I'm going to go through your comments here. I knew I wouldn't be on here long today, but I did want to come have this conversation and just kind of have you take a step back. I'm going into dark mode for December. You may be as well, kind of sitting back thinking, hey, what's my networking goal for 2025? How am I going to maneuver this? Because I'm here to tell you, unless you have a specific technical skill where there's a lot more jobs than employees, if you're going up against 18 other people for a job right now, and a lot, especially these big corporations that could be targets for lawsuits, you probably won't be chosen because the pendulum is swinging back, and it's swinging back hard. Doesn't mean we can't win. It means you need to change your strategy. So Purple Rain is saying happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Purple Rain. Donna Earth saying, hey, ladies, I knew DEI was going to die when it started. We've been talking about it on the channel. Donna Earth, you've been here. We've been talking about it. So this is what Trump supporters wanted, no DEI, tariffs, etc. And I am okay with no DEI. But that is because I have built a super strong multicultural network. So I'm okay with no DEI. I am. With regards to the tariffs, we're going to see what's going to happen with the tariffs. I'm paying attention to it. I want to see what happens overall. We'll have a conversation about the tariffs, but also when Trump was elected, I said the day after Trump was elected, I said the prices are not going down. The prices are not going down. Will they potentially go up? Yes, which is why I said you better be on top of your skills for 2025. You better be on top of your skills for 2025. The prices definitely aren't going down, and they're most likely they're always going to go up because inflation is at least 1-2% a year. That's natural. The only thing that I think is going to go down are gas prices. And now with the potential tariffs, who knows if those are going to go down. But yes, you should be prepared. You should be prepared to make another 5 to 10,000 or spend another $5 to $7,000 next year on the goods you're purchasing this year. Absolutely. But guess what? Even if Kamala Harris won, I would have said the same thing to you. That's the difference between me and a lot of the conservatives on YouTube is they wanted to just uplift Trump or uplift Kamala Harris. I'm like, no matter who wins, prices are going up. And DEI was going away. It's just more accelerated that Harris is not in office, that these things are happening. So Black women are going to be blamed for a lot of things. There are so many things we don't see or perceive, and it will cost us. Exactly. Exactly. And you have to be prepared for that individually within your family. And we have to be prepared collectively. But guess what? Cape is off, ladies. The cape is off. I saw a lot of, Black women aren't coming to save America anymore. It, should put a one in the chat if you all really want me to say what I want to say about that. Put a two in the chat if you're like, no, Sheree, it's the day before Thanksgiving. Be nice, be kind. Don't really say what you're thinking. Because I truly do have something to say about Black women Black women tried to save America and now we've got the cape off. So you all can put a one in the chat if you want me to really say what you want me to say. Y'all are saying ones. Okay, this is your fault. Y'all are saying ones. How are we going to save America when we can't save our own homes? How are we going to save America when we cannot save our own homes? When we can't save our own communities? When we can't save our own churches? One big thing, and I've been talking about it, and this may not be a lot of the people here, but just overall, 85% of our children cannot read at a fourth grade level, yet Black women are going to save America. 85% of our kids cannot do math at a fourth grade level, yet we're going to save America. How about we take our time, sit down in our homes and take care of what's happening in our homes? Index less on social media and index more in the library or on Amazon with some books or Coursera or something like that. See, that's the tough thing that people don't want to say. Black women are not in a position to save America because we haven't saved ourselves. One of the first things that they tell you when you get on an airplane is to do what? Put the mask on yourself first, then put it on your kids. A lot of us don't even have skills, money-making skills to get past a $50,000 salary, yet we're talking about Black women saving America. It makes no sense. So yes, the best thing for Black women to do over the next 4 years is to sit your ass down, get a skill that's going to give you at least $130,000 salary, at least $65 an hour salary, or for you to have a business that's pulling in that much. But guess what? You need multicultural networks and you need skills in order to do that. The reason that Asian people are kicking our butts, they were close to where we were in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s during the Vietnam War and all of that. But they're kicking our butts now because they weren't trying to save America in the 1980s and 90s. They were doing what? They were focusing on their nail salons. Now I hear there's some Asian people doing black hair braiding and all of that. They focus on their economics. So if you focus on your economics and I focus on my economics, then we have the power to go and do more. But black women ain't saving ish right now in America. We're not. We're not. When so many of us have a son in our home that can't read. And I'm not talking about a son who's dyslexic or something like that, where there is a learning disability. I'm just talking about regular schmegular young black boys, young black girls. You're saying it hurts, but it's true. It does hurt. It hurts me to say it, but it's absolutely true. I'll be damned if I go out and march for anybody. I have issues in my own home I got to take care of first. It's crazy. It's crazy. That whole DEI push gave me the ick. It seemed fake. A lot of it was fake. And of course, there were certain things that were supposed to be for Black people because it started because of George Floyd that ended up benefiting other people. And we know that that happens as well. But for you to be benefited, you've got to have what? Skills and networks, skills and networks, skills and networks. And yes, I sound like a broken record, but I don't know how else to say it. That's what we have to have, skills and networks. So I'm going to actually come back up here, see what else you all said. Notary World said Black women should focus on state and local government positions. This is where the immediate power is. That's true. That's true. Yeah, they've been rolling back a lot of DEI initiatives since the pandemic. They have been. So during the pandemic was when George Floyd happened. They rolled a whole bunch of them out, and not even 5 years later, everybody's rolling it back. So thank you for saying what I've been thinking. Moving in silence is not a skill for the Black community on social media, especially. It is not. And honestly, there are a lot of Black women who are embarrassing us as a collective on social media, which is why I want you to have your multicultural networks. Because if you walk in there and they don't know you and they've got 18 other people for the position, being a Black woman may start counting against you. It will affect disabled people and veterans also. And I feel bad for that. I really do feel bad for that. But the pendulum is swinging back. It is. It is. So, yeah, like the Fearless Fund situation. So, yes. So Harvard was sued. Whether or not you think they should have been sued, they were sued. It went up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court made its decision. It emboldened people. So then the Fearless Fund was sued. And even though the Fearless Fund said that they did not lose, the truth was they didn't win. So yes, now people are like, see, so we have to understand with corporations that even them and their law firm, their law teams, their legal teams getting a lawsuit or getting threatened with a lawsuit costs them hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So we have to think strategically about that. And the fact that most of them are not willing to risk that. So we have to continue our education. Don't listen to the anti-education writer. Oh, please don't. Please don't. Get formal education. get skills training, get soft skills training. But yeah, that's the dumbest thing that I was hearing. Are they still saying that, notary world? The anti-education rhetoric? Are they still saying? Because I know I was surprised in 2018, 2019, hearing especially a lot of Black men doing anti-education. I was just like, what in the world are people thinking of? Now people are saying you shouldn't go to college unless you're going to take STEM. Then okay, I have a different frame of mind with regards to that, but I can understand people saying that. But the anti-education rhetoric overall, and some of your kids are in schools that have anti-education sentiment all around it. It's just not going to be helpful. So, so racially motivated employers will always hire based on their preferences, DEI or not. Isn't that why Project 2025 is removing EEOC regulations so they may be discriminatory without punishment? And so you said a lot in here. Um, DEI was put in place to help more people get through the door, to help more people get options with regards to rising up the corporate ranks. The racially motivated employers with regards to DEI was not just for Black people. So they could have put Hispanic person in there. They could have put a woman in there. They could have put LGBTQ in there. They could have put other races in there. So it wasn't necessarily us. Um, there, I do believe there was a time when they were trying to be more inclusive, even with Black people, because there's Afrotech, for example. And was Afrotech started getting a lot of corporations that wanted to come to Afrotech specifically to recruit Black people. It's one of the things I have written on my notes here, but I've forgotten to say it. I belong to a group called Sisters in Sales. Sisters in Sales was tech sales people who are women of color or women of color who do tech sales. Walmart, like big companies were coming to Sisters in Sales in order to recruit women of color onto their sales divisions. A lot of that maybe to be pushed back now because of this whole thing, because of these lawsuits. So yeah, people, I'm gonna say this to you, how we learn and grow. People, if it's a small company or a mid-sized company, which I've talked a lot about, they will hire the people that they feel comfortable with. And usually the people they feel comfortable with are the people that they know in their inner circle. These bigger companies, if they were talking about you moving to upper management and executive level, it was a lot harder for Black people, for Black women to move up those ranks. So, um, Project 2025 is removing EEOC regulations so they can be discriminatory without punishment. Yeah, yeah. They, and I'm not defending Project 2025 with this. I'm just kind of looking at it as a dose of reality. They feel like they are now being discriminated against with regards to opportunity. So, yes, the pendulum is swinging back. The pendulum is swinging back because they want a lot more of those opportunities. And because they control the government, and because they control the power of the pen, and because they control the Department of Justice, they have the right to do that, which is why I'm not asking about them. I'm asking about you. How can you and I navigate? And the only way for us to navigate is for us to have multicultural networks. Because, yes, the EEOC is probably not going to be here to serve you much longer. Or if they keep it, it'll be such a skeleton crew and it'll be difficult for you to get any kind of investigation done. Sure. But I will say this as well. There are a lot of small companies, there are a lot of mid-sized companies that are not toxic, that would welcome you and I as employees, especially if we have the skills that they need and we fit into their corporate culture. There's a lot. There's a lot. So, I'm wondering about all the Black women that are currently in nonprofits and have a master's in social work. Good luck to them. Good luck to them. That's all I can say. Um, I remember a Black woman professor telling me not to go to an HBCU because of the breakdown of the DEI breakdowns or the DEI programs. I would agree with that. So when I was in college, mid to late 90s, there was this whole thing of, hey, we want to go recruit Black students for these corporate jobs. We're going to go to the HBCUs. Now, with the pendulum swinging back, do we really believe that a lot of these corporate programs are going to actively be networking and targeting HBCUs? I would not bank on it. If you have a child at an HBCU or if you are at an HBCU, the number one thing you need to be doing is networking. Network with alumni, network with corporate people in your local area. But the only thing that's really going to pull you through is skills and networks. Skills and network. Even if you go to a PWI. Now, PWIs are a little bit different just because you'll have access to multicultural networks anyway, being at a PWI, but skills and networks. So you're saying that cape isn't off? Look, my cape is off. And I would encourage all of you who are here with me today. Hopefully, you all are liking the video. So hit the like button. Hit the like button, everybody. Cape needs to be off. But yes, I can understand because I've heard a couple of Black women say, "Hey, Cherie," or not "Hey, Cherie," "Hey" to their YouTube following. "Hey, Black women are saying the cape is off, but we don't believe it." So, you know, I've heard that big companies go to HBCUs fill quotas, but I was worried about the Evelyn Bloom situation happening. Yep, and now they're going to stop doing it. They're absolutely going to stop doing it. So let's see what you all are saying. I'll go further and say some are extremely narcissistic and power hungry. It reminds me of the church mother who's well known and loved in the church, yet she's held to her own at home. This is the truth. This is the truth. So you're saving the church. You church mother, you saving the church, yet your own family is like, damn, I can't wait to get out of here. Purple Rain is saying she thinks it depends on education levels. I think I was talking at the time about children not being able to read at a fourth grade level. If it depends on the parents' education levels, even if the parents cannot read themselves at a fourth grade level, if they had the foresight to say, I'm going to go to this parent teacher association, I'm going to go to the school board, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. And honestly, if she were to do that, she could get whatever curriculum, whatever help is needed. You have to know which buttons to push and how to push them, but squeaky wheel gets the most grease. So, I'm going to make the statement, Notary World, I'm not waiting for that. I'm not waiting for it. Can't carry everything by ourselves. No, I don't think you should. I don't think we should. I don't think you should. I think you need to, well, not saying you. I'm not waiting on that at all. That is a losing battle. And not all Black men, not all Black men. That's not what I'm saying. But there's not enough critical mass for that. So, You're saying there's a whole intellectual thing going on in general. I heard that a few years ago. I didn't know it was still happening, but I'm not surprised. Uh, in reality, most skilled trades will make above 55K versus even a liberal arts bachelor's graduate who is working in education, government tech, healthcare. I guess you're saying would. Um, Today today, if you have somebody who knows how to, do appliance repair, for example, they're gonna make well above 55K. The last time I spoke to my appliance repair guy, um, they were coming out of their basic training classes making 80K. So it depends on what skill trade that they're actually doing. Um, but there are skilled trades that can definitely make above 55K. So, um, with regard to liberal arts bachelor's degrees, the more liberal arts it is, like communications, marketing, English majors, things like that, the better of a network you'd better have. You've got to have a great network if it is truly a liberal arts degree. If it's not nursing or engineering or something like that, where, they're hungry for employees, then your network is going to be key to you being successful. I've also seen people say drop college and go to trade school, but that also has its pros and cons. It's still manual labor. Uh, what is the health insurance looking like? This is true. This is true. So you better have disability insurance. You better have health insurance and disability insurance. And honestly, if somebody has those kinds of jobs, I would suggest that they get their own disability insurance that will travel with them, from job to job. That's just me. I am not a financial advisor. That was not financial advice. It would just be what I would do. So, um, Afrotech was a huge success, should have been in Houston a long time ago. I heard that Afrotech, I actually saw some of the pictures and it looked like it was really good. It did. Um, I think the Blavity started Afrotech, they did. But on Glassdoor, the BW CEO has a lot of negative reviews and they were underpaying people allegedly. Yeah, I don't know about that. But I have spoken to some of the people over at Blavity, and Afrotech is doing really well. My concern is, especially with this whole DEI thing, do you think you're going to get Facebook, Walmart, those big companies saying, gee, we want to find Black people. Let's go to Afrotech and have a booth and do recruiting? Not unless they want something from Edward Bloom. You would do infinitely better going to a regular sales conference than going to Afrotech for that purpose. Now, I'm not telling you not to go to Afrotech at all. You go to Afrotech to network. But Facebook is probably not, well, I will say it's probably not. Facebook may not have the recruiting booth anymore. Instead, what they may do is send 10 employees and say, if you find anybody interesting, let us know. But guess what? You have to run into that person at Afrotech. So, um, there was also a situation with Black Girls Code. I heard about that. I did. I hope they got it figured out. I heard about the investigation. I hadn't heard what the final results were of that, but I hope they didn't screw up Black Girls Code. I really do. Um, that's why working for an all Black company also isn't a definite answer, because sometimes they take advantage. That's true. You got to have a multicultural network. This is going to make the life of a lot of people hard. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Even if you have skills and can fit into the corporate system, no one is going to put their own race of people above you. This is true. This is true. But I do believe there's a way to multicultural network your way into success, your way into, if you want the C-suite, upper management, or at least to have a really good $150,000 to $300,000 job and bank a lot of money for retirement. Are any of my mods in here to get rid of this person? I don't know who this is, but if any of my mods are in here, can y'all get rid of this person? Cape is off. My time and energy is focused on getting in a better situation economically. Perfect. That's all I want you to do, and that's all this channel has been talking about for the past 2 years since I've been here, and that's all we're going to be talking about for the next 4 years and beyond. Is get your time, your energy. If you need to go into dark mode, December, whatever it needs to do, but get yourself together. Get your family together. The father of your children is the most important financial decision you will ever make. Make it wisely, especially if they start really, really talking about getting rid of no-fault divorce. You'd better be thinking strategically who you connect yourself with. Better start thinking strategically. So also see how Asians are used to pay people to help their children. Black people only do that for sports. It's true. It's true. But here's the thing, Purple Rain, you and I can do something differently with our children. And that's all I want you to think about. You start thinking about, or I start thinking about, Black people don't do this, Black people don't do that. That is unproductive. So what I talk about on this channel is how your specific household can operate, how my specific household can operate. And that's it. So, hey, Blossoming Bloom, I didn't go to an HBCU. I'm having a difficult time finding a full-time job in my field. I have a part-time job now by emailing my multicultural network. You're going to have to work on that network in order to get that full-time job. You are. So I will tell you that networking and being very good at what you're doing. So making sure your skills are super sharp, because what these people are doing in interviews now is they are asking you specific technical skills for whatever field you're in. And a lot of people are getting kicked out because they cannot answer those technical skills in those interviews. So when you go into that interview, you need to be sharp and ready with any kind of technical skill questions they are asking you. You also just want to think about, do I fit into enough corporate cultures where I can get picked up? So you're one of the only Black kids at Cumin. That's a shame. There's a nursing shortage and a healthcare worker shortage in general. It's true. That's true. If people feel like that's what they want to study and that's what they want to do, attend as many industry-related conferences as you can. Yes. Multicultural industry-related conferences. Yes. And meet as many people as you can. Volunteer. Get on the committee to actually help produce the conferences. That way you get to know the people. You get to know the speakers at a more intimate level. Absolutely. Network everywhere with everyone. Yeah, they're talking about getting rid of no-fault divorce. Yes. Yes, they are actively talking about getting rid of no-fault divorce. It's not, from what I could see, in Project 2025. Because I looked for it, doesn't mean it's not in there, but other people would have said it was in there as well. I didn't remember seeing it in there. But yes, they have been hinting. The conservatives, the number one thing they want to do is bring back the traditional family, man, woman, children living in a household together. And yes, they are actively talking about Unless it's a DV situation, you not being able to get out of that marriage. Yes, they are seriously talking about this. Now, people in the conservative circles of YouTube will say, Trump never mentioned that. Trump never said that. What are you talking about? He's not going to do that. Trump also said that he wasn't a part of Project 2025. And lo and behold, when he became president, um, Project 2025 is back on the table. Now, when Trump denounced Project 2025 or said he didn't know anything about it, he didn't have anything to do with it, I was honest with you. I told you what, even though I was voting for Trump, Trump is absolutely going to enact Project 2025. The day after Trump won, I came on here and told you what, Project 2025 is coming. I'm here to tell you, no fault divorce is about to go away. Especially if Trump does his 4 years and then there's a JD Vance or another type of that type of person who becomes president next for the next 4 to 8 years. And they're probably going to test it in certain states first. They're probably going to test it in certain states first, and then they may make it national, or they may just keep it a states issue, and a lot of states may have no fault divorce. Right now, when you have kids, Purple Rain, and you probably know this, when you have kids with somebody, even if you're not married to them, in a lot of states, let's say that I live in Maryland. Let's say I live in Maryland. I have a child with somebody. I get a job offer in Texas. That man can say to me, Cherie, you cannot move to Texas to take that job that's paying you twice as much. Yes. Who you tie yourself to is vitally important with regards to who you marry and who you have children with. Absolutely. I will also tell you, because I had this let me see if I can find the story. There is a state where I must have gotten rid of it. There is a state where in the United States, I can't remember where it is, that if you are pregnant, you cannot divorce your husband. I had it saved in my articles for the longest time, but for whatever reason, I can't find it now. Some state in America, I can't remember where it was, but it wasn't, it wasn't in North Dakota. It was like in, like a Texas or someplace like that, Missouri, something like that. If you are pregnant, you can't divorce your husband. All I'm saying is you're going to have to start playing chess, ladies. You're going to have to start playing chess. When I saw a lot of stuff on TikTok with Black women saying a lot of craziness, I'm like, this DEI thing is about to go away. And it was going to go away anyway, but we are opening our mouths and saying certain things accelerated a lot of issues. So I just come on here to say, hey, look, the pendulum is swinging back and is swinging back hard. Hey, look, being a Black woman in these corporate environments, as you're trying to monkey branch, is going to start counting against you unless you have certain things in place. And that's just really the big thing that I want you to think of. Yes, upperly well, Black women should start taking self-defense classes. Absolutely. Re-social engineering. Be the change you want to see, starting with yourself and your household. Exactly. We can't save America when we can't save our own household. Hey, Blossoming Bloom. Also in computer science, the job interviews ask you to code on the spot. Same in engineering. Exactly. So I know a lot of accountants because my mother's a bookkeeper, and one of the accountants that we know, he's been trying to hire for this accounting position for 2 years. 2 years. And my mother was telling me she had a conversation with the guy who owns the company, CEO, and he's the CPA, and they do taxes and all sorts of stuff. And he's like, yeah, I want to hire for this junior accountant position. So it's a position that's just out of college. And he asked them simple accounting questions during the interview, and they cannot answer it. Stuff like, if you're an accountant, um, what's retained earnings? What's depreciation? How do you calculate it? So for anybody who's not an accountant, these are like, it's not 101, it's like 201, but it's like stuff you have to know in order to do the job. So, you, Black woman, you can separate yourself in the interview if you're able to clearly articulate your responses. If you need help, that is where you get Mentor Shelley to help you. But how many Black women are going to interviews and they're not ready? How many uh, how many of us are going to interviews and we're not ready to perform? And then we want to blame racism, white supremacy. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You did not show during that interview where they ask you to code on the spot. You did not show that you are top 10% of people in that field with regards to your technical skills. And there was a time when they would say, you know what, but we really like this Black woman. We're going to take her on and we're going to nurture her and we're going to get her to the next level. Now people are saying, no, 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 not doing it. So, hey, Lenny, good to see you, my dear. Um, Pro tip, use Microsoft Copilot to quickly peruse and summarize a large PDF document like Project 2025. Good to know. We'll definitely do that. Um, so marriage and children are off the table for me now. I am scared. Look, I totally get it. I fortunately am like beyond that. Um, I do. This is Cherie's little spidey senses. So you all could put a 3 in the chat if you agree with this statement. I think part of the reason they want to get rid of TikTok is because they want the birth rate to increase. And too many women on TikTok are talking about their lives being mothers, their lives being child free. You know, put a 3 in the chat if you agree with me that part of TikTok, especially TikTok and Reddit, but I think even more TikTok, is that people are getting a sense of what it's really like to be a parent. And as much as Matt Walsh tries to pretty it up and other people, conservatives, try to pretty it up, they cannot pretty it up enough. They can't do it. So you all are putting 3s in the chat. Yeah, I think if they get rid of TikTok, a lot of it will be for that reason. People are exposing behind the scenes. Exactly. And you're like, is that what I have to do? Is that it? And one of the other big things I heard, now y'all know I'm not on TikTok too much, but I've been listening to some podcasts, is that from age 0 to 3, men biologically are disconnected to the children because they can't really, or they don't really feel like they could do anything for the kid or with the kid until the kid turns 4, 5, 6, when they start getting cute. So you, as a woman, ages 0 to 3, unless you hit the jackpot with a husband and a partner and a father to your children, ages 0 to 3, you're probably 99% going to be doing the majority of the work with that child because biologically, like they were explaining it, biologically, the man's emotions for the kid hasn't kicked in yet. They're just like, why is this kid screaming? Make it stop, you know? You're saying you don't have TikTok, but that's interesting. Yeah, so, that's what they're saying. Russia is even banning content on child-free lifestyles. Exactly. They want these birth rates up. In the United States, which is different from China and North Korea, and if they could do it in South Korea and Japan, they would do it as well. They want these birth rates up. They do. So it's getting interesting. Um, I wouldn't call it weaponized incompetence. That's not how they explained it on the podcast. It was like it was something biological with them. It was interesting. And I didn't save it, so I can't play it for you. Um, Not just that, too many people on TikTok are saying things are threatening to the status quo in multiple fields. That's true. People read the letter from Osama bin Laden. People, TikTok is sharing a lot of stuff that these governments don't want shared. So, but yes, definitely, I think the birth rate is one reason why they either and the part of the issue with TikTok is not American owned. TikTok is owned by the Chinese. I don't care what anybody says. I do believe that the CCP, the Chinese government administration, can definitely go to TikTok and say change the algorithm. I don't care what the Chinese TikTok CEO says. I don't care what he says. They can absolutely call him and say, change the algorithms. And I think 40% of young people get their news from TikTok. They don't get it from MSNBC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, anything like that. They get their news from TikTok. And the US government has no control over the algorithm. No direct control. Yeah, so you're saying even if they ban TikTok, the memories will live on forever. For how long, though? Main femme fatale. For how long? Right? I'm not going to be on here too much longer. I was on here longer than I intended to be. Ninja Shelley, being a parent is not for the faint at heart. I'm glad the truth of parenting has come to surface. Yeah, yes, it has. And a lot, especially of women, a lot of women are taking a step back. Close to 50% of women between the ages of 25 to 45 are child free. I mean, but every time I hear, whether it's Matt Walsh or anybody else talking about children, having children, the guy, Simone Collins, and that's Simone is the wife, but the husband, I can't remember, Malcolm, I think his name is Collins. They always talk about it from the point of view of we need more labor. We need more labor. We need more people being born so they can support the elderly people. They never talk about it with regard to quality of life for the parents. They never talk about it with regards to how it will make our nation better outside of we need young people to work so they can support the elderly in retirement. So I'm only going to read a few more comments and I really got to go because I heard my mom calling me. CPA here, even clients will ask test questions. The moment a Black person takes over an account, they suddenly have questions on the work they've signed off on for years. True. So you got to be prepared for that. You got to be prepared for that. I'm happy I'm in menopause as well. I certainly do. He's Singaporean, but I understand what you mean. Yeah, I don't care if he's Singaporean or whatever. China and ByteDance own TikTok. So yeah, but he's Singaporean, fine. He still has to go and answer to the CCP. So, but thanks for the correction, Purple Rain. Thanks for the correction. Yeah, follow page that exposes all the CEO files that are open. Yeah. Yeah, people are able to share too much information. They are. Similar with Reddit, some very powerful cheat codes and behind the scenes stuff are shared on Reddit. A lot of stuff is shared on Reddit with regards to being child free, with regards to like people, because I think because Reddit is so anonymous, people feel like really able to express themselves. So even in Japan, the population is getting older and they have fewer young people. This is true. And I heard in Japan, there was like 3 months where no kids were born at all in the country. with 100 million people. The country of Japan had 3 months with no kids being born. I saw that in the documentary. Some of the social media is part of the reason why. So you're right. The real information in other instances does scare governments and institutions, which is the reason for the ban. Yes. Yeah, it trust me, it doesn't have anything to do with our mental health, with kids, doing challenges that are unaliving them, with young girls feeling less than physically. No, this has to do with they want you having these babies and they don't want you sharing information. You heard it from me. So keeping women distracted with child rearing and helping elderly keeps them away from making real change in the country. This is true. This is true. And it keeps their income limited, which means when they put the no-fault divorce, they reverse the no-fault divorce, then you're going to be stuck. Which is why I tell you, have your multicultural networks and your skills before you get pregnant. Before you get pregnant. With South Korea, the birth rates are so interesting, Purple Rain, that they have tried and tried and tried all sorts of ways to bribe these women to have kids. And they're saying no. In Hungary, they were bribing women to have kids, and the women are saying no. In Japan, in a lot of places, now they're coming to the United States talking about, we want these women having babies. We want they want the men married to the women, and then they want the women having babies, and we're gonna give some tax credits. I'm just taking a step back. I want to see what is going to happen. I want to see what is going to happen. But I can't imagine sitting across from a man saying, you know what? Let's have a baby so we can get $7,000 worth of tax credits. I can't see it. If y'all see it, let me know. But I can't see it. Japan now has 30 million foreigners living there. Yeah, so they have about 130 million people, I think, 126 million. And 30 million, let's say 30 million of them are foreigners. I can't remember that specific statistic. But Japan is also really skittish about how many foreigners they want living in their country because they do want to preserve their culture. They are not like the United States. That's a melting pot. They're not. So yeah. All right, ladies. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll see you all maybe Friday, maybe for Small Business Saturday. Eat you some good turkey. Enjoy the mashed potatoes, the sweet potato casserole, whatever you girls are having. Thank you so much for being here this evening. And keep your head up, but get your skills and get your networks. All right, ladies, take care. Bye.